Yes, indeed. We are live. Yes, come on, man. Come on in here. Come on in here, guys. Come on in here, guys and girls. The episode of the afternoon kick, early start today, the 1 p.m. kickoff. My partner, Rio Robinson, will not be here, but that means you can still hang out and listen, hang out, tune in. We got a special guest this afternoon, and we're going to get to that right here in a minute. But you're looking right now on our X feed at Breaking Command Pod, and also the Breaking Command Pod on the YouTube page. So make sure y'all lock into that. But I ain't gonna hold you much longer. Let's just get this thing started. If I can find my intro video, I don't know where it's at, but hold on a second. Yeah, y'all know how we do. Y'all know how it is. Oh, here it is. All right, let's get it. Afternoon kick starts now. Yes, indeed. Welcome back to another episode of the Afternoon Kick. Early start today, going solo dolo. It's your man, Darian D.H. Williams. My partner in crime, Rio Robinson, is out today. You know, it's the holiday season. We got to give him a break. You know what I'm saying? Got to give you time to chill out. And, you know, I said I couldn't let this week go without discussing this epic win that we had against the Philadelphia Eagles this past weekend. A game that everybody thought we was going to lose. Not me. If you tune back to the last episode of the Afternoon Kick last Friday, I told you we were going to win this game. I'll pull the clip myself and find it for you. But in the meantime, in between time, I said I need to have somebody on here that can discuss this game at length, well, at least for 15 minutes, with your boy on the Afternoon Kick. And I said, let's call up one of our buddies, somebody that's been on the Breaking Command pod. Let's call up one of our guys. So I called my guy, the Team 980s afternoon drive host. Of course, this is the Afternoon Kick, so why not have an afternoon host that starts at 4 p.m.? Our guy, Craig Hoffman. Craig, what's up, baby boy?
What's up, DH? Good to be with you. Love to be discussing a win. I mean, I guess you knew, but when I said I'd come on this week, I didn't know that we'd be discussing a win.
Man, listen, I felt it in my spirit, in my heart of hearts. I said, yo, I think we can beat this team. I looked at the schedule, and I told you a couple weeks ago, man, I was like, I'm not scared of anybody on our schedule. And sure enough, I was vindicated. I felt good, man. So it feels good to get this win, to move one step closer to the playoffs. Craig, I'll just get to it, and I'll just ask, man, what was your initial thoughts about the win, man, this Sunday against the Eagles, man?
I think Sunday's game was kind of a proof point, if not the proof point, of how the modern NFL works, which is that if you can create big plays, I don't want to say nothing else matters, but almost nothing else matters. And the Commanders not only needed the big plays because they had 5 turnovers, but they needed big plays and situational excellence, and they got both. They were outstanding on 2 really key fourth downs. They were outstanding in the red zone, and their ability to score touchdowns when the Eagles scored field goals or didn't score at all later in the game was able to overcome 5 turnovers. And I was talking to Terry in the locker room, and I've told this story on the radio show the other day, but I'm talking to Terry, and I'm like, bro, y'all scored 36. And before I could even go with 5 turnovers, he goes, with 5 turnovers. And I'm like, yeah, like that is crazy. And it's because they hit big, explosive plays, and then they were awesome in the red zone where the Eagles, kicked a couple field goals in some big spots. Defense did just enough. You get the big turnover from Luvu on that side of the ball, and you out after the Barkley big one, and one other play to A.J. Brown, like they limited the explosives of the Eagles, which is kind of how they thrive. I mean, the Eagles won 10 straight games on that theory. Explosive plays is what wins. And the Commanders flipped it on their head, in part because Jalen Hurts wasn't there.
Man, I love that. And of course, I've heard every excuse from Philadelphia Eagles fans about why we won this game. If we have time, we'll get to that. But I don't care because we won. I'm super excited. But as you said, Craig, as we're right here live on the Afternoon Kick with my partner today, Craig Hoffman, Rio Robinson is out. It's 107 on the East Coast. If you're in the car, man, honk your horn. Tell them that you're listening to the Afternoon Kick, man. Let them know that you're watching live right now. Don't be distracted, though. 2 hands on the wheel. But
just listen. Don't watch. Don't watch. We ain't that pretty. We're pretty. Right. We ain't that pretty.
Hey, Craig, speak for yourself, man. No, but no, man. To be able to come out of this game with a win and 5 turnovers, it was a game that I told you before we went on, just early. It just felt like this game could get out of hand, but we just hung around. And I think that's been a theme for this team all year. It's like Jayden, if Jayden has taught you anything, it's don't leave before the game is over. The game is not over to the zeros on the clock. And he's just super poised and super chill and composed. Man, Craig, we talked about it previously, man. Your overall thoughts of just Jayden Daniels this season on how he's performed and just to his veteran level like play, man? What do you think about it, man?
Yeah, it's funny. I said this on Take Command this morning. I said to Logan, like the Saints game was for the nerds. This one was for the fans.
Yeah.
Like in the Saints game, there was a precision to his game, decision making, like super high level stuff that you're like, man, if this is week in, week out performance, and then he can hit a couple of the big plays like the ones he missed to Terry, then like we're talking about a top 5 quarterback in the league. And I think he'll get there. But like the fact that we're even having that discussion in year one it speaks well to the point that you made. Like he's playing with the veteran level. This week, some of that excellence down in, down out is not there. A lot of their offense was just like a smart check down here or an RPO. Like there wasn't a lot of super high level quarterbacking all over the field where he's dotting guys on deep digs over the middle, like the stuff that makes the quarterback nerds just go crazy. But he did hit that big old ball to Diami down the sideline, and he did hit that big old ball to Terry over the middle, or down the other sideline. He hit, a couple of other big passes in this game in the red zone, and then he scrambled for 5 on 4th and 4 and scrambled for 30 on 4th and 11. And like, okay, those are winning plays. And I think that's the thing for him is he finds a way. And sometimes it's like this meticulous excellence down in, down out for the nerds quarterbacky stuff. And other times it's highlight plays that it takes someone who's watching football the first time to be like, man, that was cool. And this game was a little more of that. There was some for the nerds in this game. Like he only took 1 sack, which was really, really important. He was able to manipulate the pocket and get some of these checkdowns and things off. And like, a check down is definitely for the nerds. But at the same time, the big plays are the ones that change this game.
Man, the big plays were key and they were crucial, and we needed those. As you probably hear my daughter crying in the background because it's the middle of the daytime and she's supposed to take a nap, but she doesn't want to.
I was going to say, it's got to be nap time.
Yeah, it's got to be, man. They start crying and getting money. And halfway through the game, I was almost crying because I'm like, we about to let this opportunity squander. And I didn't want to squander this, man, because I know a lot of people didn't think we were going to be able to be in the game. But I just knew, man, it's just like we're that team now that if you let us hang around and if you keep it and we stay alive, we just have the opportunity to win. And I don't know if that goes to just Jayden's ability or if that goes to coaching or what that even speaks to. But this is truly a different ball club than we've had in previous years. Not the fact that almost all the rosters turned over, but just in general, the mentality, the work ethic, just the fire that this team has, man. Craig, what have you seen firsthand? I don't know whether it's from coaching or just the players, but what have you seen that sets this team apart from teams of old?
Well, it's part that it's all of it, right?
Yeah.
There's a cohesion from Adam Peters. I mean, it really Josh Harris, I'm assuming. I'm like, you don't become a guy like him without being competitive in your own way, right? Yeah. But certainly in Peters and then on down in the football operation, there's a bunch of like-minded people and they're super competitive. They have a high level of self-belief, a high level of discipline. And I think they also are super prepared. I mean, the situational football that this team played on Sunday was really, really high level, ironically, with the exception of Jayden. Like, it wasn't perfect in situations because end of half, end of game, really important. Where does 2 picks come? What should have been a 2-minute drive in the first half and what should have been the game-winning drive at the end of the game. Luckily, they got another one because Devontae Smith just had a big old whoopsie that is very un-Devontae Smith likes. So there's that. But I think that this in some ways is the NFL, but that doesn't mean that other teams don't panic and make it not them. So what I mean by that is how many times have the Commanders gotten up this year in some games, and then there's a moment somewhere later in the game where it's a little bit nerve-wracking. Like these games are very, very long, and I think we've seen that in previous seasons where Commanders will get up early and then teams will come back on them, and it's like, man, they had them in the first half, like. Not so much. But for Washington, with guys like Wagner, guys like Ertz who have been around that can go up and down the sideline and be like, I've been here before. Like, we're fine. It's 21-7, but like we got a lot of time. 5's really good. Like, we're good. And so I think it's part that, just the maturity of the team, the competitiveness to like, okay, we're down big. What are we going to do? Stop? No, we're going to keep fighting and see let's mess around and find out. And that is also a lot easier to convince yourselves of when you are really, really convinced that the quarterback will make it happen. And that is like, you want to talk about the difference in this team in talking to them. The thing that they verbalize is, hey, 5, he's going to make it happen. As long as we got 5, we got a chance. And so as long as they got 5 out there, I think they believe that they can beat anyone. And frankly, they're right. Like, would I pick them against anyone? Not necessarily. But to your point, I'm not scared of anyone, because if Jayden hits 2 big plays in any given game, like, their offense is probably going to score 30. And their defense is playing some pretty decent ball right now. We can get into that if you want to, but there's some good ball being played on the other side too. And so they're not the best team in the league. They have a long way to go to be a true championship caliber team over the course of years of roster building, like 2 to 3 years, maybe. Maybe they could be that next year. But it really does start with the fact that on any given Sunday, they are good enough to beat anyone legitimately.
Yeah, and I do want to get into the defense momentarily, but I'll say this real quick, Craig. It's 1:14 on the East Coast right now. You're watching the afternoon kick, the early game, man. We're getting started, man, early for your holiday, man. So you can hurry up and watch and then get out of here. But make sure you go and look at the replay that will be up all day on the Breaking Command Pod YouTube page with Craig Hoffman. Craig, I just feel like, man, this team is destined, bro. Like, just watching some of the plays that have happened, because there are a lot of plays that have happened this year that just don't go our way, frankly, that we've just been on the opposite side of. And it just feels like, man, we just get, I don't know if it's luck, if it's divine intervention, if it's angels in the outfield, like, whatever it is, bro, we just end up on the good side of some of this stuff. And for it to all happen in the same season, it's crazy. Normally, you may have one of those things happen every couple seasons. And of course, make sure y'all hit up the chat if y'all have some points y'all want to get out here. If you have a question you want to ask Craig, we can do that. But you just look at some of these plays that have happened, and it's just like, how many more miracles are we going to get? Like, how many more of these chances do we have, man? Craig, I don't know if you're religious or not, man, but do you believe that we have some divine intervention going on?
There's something happening. You remember, I'm going to bring up, trigger warning to the name I'm about to bring up, but it's to make fun of him, so it's okay. Perfect. Y'all remember when Bruce Allen said we're winning off the field?
Yeah.
Okay. DH, think of what happened this weekend. Yeah. The winning off the field and then the winning on the field.
Yeah.
They won off the field in Congress, something that never happens to anyone. Yeah. Right? They have this absolute insane miracle that the RFK bill passes.
In the middle of the night, man.
In the middle of the night, after it was deader than dead. Right? I had like people that cover Congress for a living on the radio show that were like, this thing is dead as a doornail. Like, you absolutely not. And then all of a sudden I wake up Saturday morning and it's like, wait, what happened? And they follow that up with, they look dead. They come back, they beat Philly. That's in the season where they're beating Chicago the entire game. Oh, no, bad juju has found its way back into Northwest Stadium. No. Oh, wait, there's a Hail Mary. It should have happened against Dallas, where Terry scores and then you have kicker issues, but whatever. That's like the one time that it didn't kind of break their way. And there's just a bunch of other stuff that has kind of gone their way this year. And it just feels like 30 years of bad luck is all of a sudden pouring itself into one year. And hopefully it will continue to do that. But I also think like there's a little bit of preparation meets luck, or whatever that statement is. Luck is when hard work or preparation meets opportunity. Like, they've done a lot of work. Like, even on the, the off the field thing, like, I have no doubt that they were working the phones late into 1 a.m., to get Chuck Schumer to take that RFK bill back to the Senate floor and see if they could pass it. And they had done the work to make sure that it was going to pass. I have no doubt that Dan Snyder and Bruce Allen would not have done that. So, like, they made that happen. They made their own luck. Terry finds a way, and Jayden gives Terry that opportunity against Dallas. Obviously, Hail Mary speaks for itself. And on Sunday, same thing. They created their own opportunities because the game-winning drive is finished off on a play that they have run quite a bit in the red zone this year. It's intended for Zach Ertz, the way it's drawn up, but against a very specific coverage, it goes to Jamison Crowder. Well, on Friday, okay, first time all year, they run it in practice. They get that coverage. Jayden dots Jamison Crowder in the back of the end zone. Same exact coverage when they line up. And it was funny because Dan Quinn was like, I don't know, man. It's funny how that happens. And I'm like, it's funny how you hired a great offensive staff and all of a sudden your team's prepared for every situation and is all over the coverages that Philly wants in key spots, third downs, backed up in your own end zone where they get the shot to Diami. And once you get in kind of that green zone, they get to that, 38-yard line, bomb to Terry on a third down. Like, they were all over what Philly wanted to do. So preparation plays a huge part in them getting lucky, and then you have to get lucky, and they were. But if you get lucky and you're not ready for it, all it does is just be a missed opportunity.
That's it. 118 on the afternoon kick, live with Craig Hoffman of the Team 980, who's going to be live later this afternoon at 4. So make sure when you stop watching this live and you stop watching the replays, you head on over to ESPN. I'm sorry, the Team 980, and check out.
Hey, I worked
Craig
for ESPN
Hoffman.
980 back in the day, too.
And there you go.
I know where that came from.
It's all the same. And look, man, Adrian Dockett said this, man. Some teams just get hot at the right time. And that's something that I kind of want to stick with. Some teams just get hot at the right time. And you also mentioned about being prepared when opportunity. And oftentimes I mention that even when we're doing all these hobbies and having opportunities, it's just that being prepared when the opportunity knocks. And it's something that you mentioned about the coaching staff being prepared, the players being prepared, going through different things just to be prepared for these types of situations, because you never know when it's going to happen. You don't know when you're going to need a 2-point play. It's so funny. I forgot that they went for 2 after that. You know what I mean?
They did.
Never know when
They
you're going
got
to
it.
need. You never know when you're going to need these plays. You never know when things are like this are going to happen. And it feels like for every situation that comes up against them, they are prepared. And that's something that for years and years, it just seemed like we never were. And you would think an NFL team is just have all their bases covered. And it truly shows how lacking we were in the previous years, man.
For sure. And, saying it's the most prepared situational team I've covered, like, I've been doing this a decent amount of time at this point. Not as long as John Kine. This is the most prepared team that Keim has ever covered. And John and I have talked about this quite a bit. And John's talked about this on his show, which I was actually on earlier today as well. So making the rounds this holiday season. Everyone's favorite holiday guest, I guess. But no, Cakes has been covering the team for 25, 26 years at this point, almost 30 years. And he said there has never been a team that has done as much situational work as this one. And it started, Zach Ertz said after the game on Sunday, we would practice situations against the coaches in OTAs. Like, they weren't even allowed to practice against each other yet. They're already working on situations. So they are ready for this stuff. And it's one, what do we do? But also I think the scouting has been really good. Like, what do they do to know, okay, in the red zone, these are the coverages we're going to get. In the high green, we're going to get these coverages on third down. There's a great example or 2 great examples on third down on Sunday, where on one play, they know, okay, it's 3rd and 7. A lot of teams, including the Eagles, are going to play 2-3 techniques. So typically your defensive tackles in a 4-down front. We're going to get nerdy. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
You have a 1 technique, which means that they are lined up on the outside shoulder of the center, so between the center and the guard, and a 3 technique, who's basically lined up between the guard and the tackle. But because you're not as responsible for run responsibilities on a 3rd and 7, because the other team is most likely to pass, that 3 technique is in a better pass rushing position. So they just move that 1 technique over a gap, and now it's double 3 technique. So what do the Commanders do? Oh, we can run on that. That's a bad run fit. That's why teams don't do it in not 3rd down obvious passing situations. So they run a quarterback trap with Jayden Daniels, where the center, Tyler Biadasz, gets immediately free release because there's no one on him. Those 2 defensive tackles are between the guard and the center. Free release for Biadasz up to Nakobe Dean on the 2nd level. So he's got a one-on-one block on a linebacker. And Jalen Carter comes up the field because he's like, ooh, nobody blocked me. And here comes Nick Allegretti from the other side. Bam, trap block. And Jayden skirts up the middle. You get a 9-yard gain on a 3rd and 7. They also later on a 3rd and 4 get a 5-yard gain by Jeremy McNichols, because they know in 3rd and 4 to 3rd and 6-ish range, the Eagles like to play dime personnel. So all of a sudden they have 4 cornerbacks on the field. They're light. Let's run it. We can get 5 yards against dime personnel. And they do. So there's 2 third down conversions in the game based off what I would consider scouting first downs. That's good stuff right there. That is being prepared.
I love it, man. And Craig, it's funny, man. We get nerdy and the numbers go up, man. We got to get nerdy more often. I love it. We talking about 3 technique. I was like, man, I need to pull out the whiteboard real quick, man. I was like, I need to do it.
I need to get Logan a whiteboard for Christmas. That's what I need to do.
Do that. Do that. But I'm sure he's not watching, so he doesn't know he's getting it. So just go ahead and get it, get it for him. Hey, real quick. Before we get to the defense, I know you got a hard out here in a couple of minutes, but before we get to the defense,
We're good. We're good.
hit this. Do you think we should add Clyde Edwards-Helaire for the extra running back, wide receiver at the backfield as insurance? Adrian Dawkins said that in the chat.
Great question, Adrian. And I've thought about this a little bit because when he got free, I think in part because I think he's on my franchise mode for the Commanders in Madden, and I was like, oh yeah, I signed him because I needed an extra running back who could catch. I know he's been having like some mental health stuff that he's been working through, so I just don't know where he's at. He's obviously like the 6th running back in Kansas City, which is why they ultimately let him go. Yeah. I know he was pretty well liked there, but I think there was some like family tragedy or something happened in his life that really was shaking up his world a little bit, and he's been struggling with that. So I just don't know where he is. From a skill set standpoint, it makes sense. But I also think more in-house, can you use Luke McCaffrey a little bit more in some of those Austin Eckler type of roles? Like you see what he does on kick returns, and I look, they noticed. I mean, obviously it's their guy. They're paying attention to the game. But like Dan mentioned it on the press conference on Monday to be like, yeah, he's a good screen runner too, and we like him in some of these areas. And so I know that he was working a little bit with Anthony Lynn in the preseason because there was one time when I was waiting to interview him, and he's over there working on handoff stuff with Anthony Lynn. So I do think that there's a chance Luke gets a few more looks in some of the old Austin Eckler sets, if you will. Yeah. If Edwards-Helaire, like, would I consider bringing him out on the practice squad if he fits, what they're looking for? Yeah. And then if you want to elevate him from there, cool. But I would have to know what's going on with him. And I say that on a human level, not just like from a football level.
Nah, for sure. And that's always good. We want to make sure the guys, got everything together before they get in here. Because we don't know the level. Man, people just see it on a Sunday, but man, it's so much preparation goes in the ball. So much more pressure and just – it's a lot of pressure.
You can't play NFL football unless you're 100% committed to it. It's way too hard. These are the absolute best players in the world, and it's the best coaches, and it's fast, it's physical, and if your mind is not right in it, then it is impossible to succeed.
Yeah, you got to be all in. And Adrian also mentioned something about JD5 using the virtual reality, and I'm going to use that to transition into the defense. JD5 prepares very well in these different situations. Joe Witt, I believe, has prepared the defense very well, and they've gotten better and better as the weeks gone on. Craig, man, how do you feel this defense is playing in this last quarter of the season? How important will they need to be getting into this playoff run?
I mean, it's huge. I mean, obviously, if you can I think you see the difference in just, hey, we can bend but don't break, and we'll be all right. Like with the offense, if it's going to perform the way it has been the last couple of weeks, then if you can hold the other team to field goals, you're probably going to win. And like, that's cool. Love that. Because there's been offenses that I've covered on this team that you're going to need to score yourself if you want to win as a defense because they've been so bad. So I think that the change they made and their willingness to find a solution on offense and defense, but I'll talk about Joe and what he did on Sunday. I mean, they didn't play basically any single high with Hurts in the game. And then all of a sudden Hurts gets out. And yeah, did it change the game? And do the Eagles win with Hurts? It feels like a very high possibility, Eagles fans. I'm not going to say that. What I will say is the Commanders maximized that opportunity. They took another guy, was like, okay, we're going to come down in the box. We're going to play single high. If Kenny Pickett wants to beat us, like, go ahead and try. Saquon is not beating us. And they went from giving up 109 yards and 2 touchdowns on his first 7 carries to hitting him in the backfield on 13 of his final 22 carries. He had, on his final 22 carries, DH, he had -4 yards before contact. -4.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so they found a way, and it's the execution, it's the trust in guys like Sheldon Day, who played his butt off, it's the preparation, it's all of it. And again, I thought they were on some of Philly's stuff too, like the Louvu interception. They knew what was coming. They, it's like, oh, it's early. They're going to try to go quick game, get this guy an easy completion, stick concept. Frankie, pretends like he's either in man or is going to be a flat player, and it's like, just kidding, I'm a hook player. 2 steps, bang, comes right back underneath the slant. And, like, that's just good. That's good stuff. And then, I know Lattimore had the penalties, but like he actually had a better game than I remember. There's a bunch of stuff earlier where he breaks up and it has good coverage on Brown. And so, yeah, A.J. Brown's a monster. He's going to get his. Some of those PI calls were garbage. And yeah, he gave up 1 or 2, but he's still, mean, AJ on a better corner has like a 200-yard day. So
Exactly.
Lattimore, hopefully he's back this week. We should know a little bit more today and certainly a lot more by Thursday, Friday.
Lattimore coming to this defense, finally being active, really changes the mentality of this defense. I feel like they can do a little more. I'm curious as to no, that's not the question I wanted to do. I'm curious,
No,
John
we're not
Allen.
signing Patrick Peterson. He's working for us at Odyssey. Quit trying to take my colleagues away.
Right, man.
I got to get him back on the show. He was good.
Yeah, get him on there, man. Then after he's done with you, tell him to come on to my show. But Jonathan Allen looks like he's gonna come back at some point in the season. How do we make a roster spot for Jonathan Allen? Do you think him coming back will also change how this defense plays through the end of the season?
I mean, I hope it helps it. I mean, he's a good. I know people are really hard on John, and I don't think John had a great start to the season, but he is a Pro Bowl caliber player.
Sure is.
He is a very, very good football player who has watched what has worked and what hasn't, and I think he wants in on this badly. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to have one Crimson Tide up, one Crimson Tide out. I think Fedarian Mathis is done here. Like, there's just like, what's the point? And so then the question is, like, on a game day, what do you do? Because Carl Davis has been pretty solid. I think John Allen's a much better football player, with all due respect to Carl Davis, than Carl Davis. But these role players have been really critical. So I am curious to see how they, like, what they do. I'm also curious to see, like, BSJ had, God, man, he played that so well on the coverage part. And then he has the anti-clutch gene. Although we have a theory. We have a theory. You know who recovered the final fumble of the game? Like on the kickoff after the game-winning touchdown?
Was it him?
It was BSJ. Maybe in that lost play, by recovering that fumble, he exercised his demon in the anti-clutch gene. That's what we are hoping for.
I'm hoping.
Because he played that crossing route exceptionally well. He made A.J. Brown catch the ball short of the sticks, and then he ran by his ass instead of tackling him. What can you do?
It just feels like if he can just make one or two plays, I think.
He's just like so worked up. And you're like, bro,
right.
Settle down. You're Canadian. You're supposed to be very calm at all times.
Right. That's a part. That's an out of the box trait, bro. You're supposed to be chill.
Supposed to be chill. Supposed to be chill. Be your hockey player. Just we're in control and we're beating people up. That's what we need.
Maybe that's what he thinks he's doing. Maybe he thinks he's playing hockey. They get the chance to fight, man. Maybe he's in the wrong sport. I don't know. You need to talk to his agent, man. You need to get him something.
I don't know.
Craig, go ahead, man. No, please.
I was in the middle of some other point. I don't remember what it was. It's fine. We got our jokes off. Everything's great.
That works. Craig, man, before I let you get out of here, man, you gotta do two things for me. First off, you gotta promise me that when we go on this playoff run, we'll get on another episode of the Afternoon Kick and we'll talk about it. Probably talk about our wild card win. Maybe let's see if we can do that.
I could be up for that.
Yeah. And the second thing, man, with 2 games left and the playoff run, hopefully, man, how do you think we're gonna fare? What do you think was gonna happen this week against the Falcons and finishing off against the Cowboys, man? Just give me your last 2 weeks of the season, man. What do you think happened? How do you think this team performs?
I think they win against Atlanta. I think that's a big time spot that this team has kind of shown up for those this year. Jayden in prime time. Like I think we'll know by kickoff whether or not they need that to win and get in, or whether or not Seattle or whoever else is lost and it's already clinched. So it could just wind up being a coronation as opposed to a clinch. But either way, I think they play well. You have to bottle up Bijan. And then this is Michael Penix's first real test. Like, he faced the Giants in week 1. All due respect, which is none.
That's a good game to start, though.
Yeah, for sure. And so, we'll see. But he didn't exactly play great. Like, their defense had a couple pick sixes. Like, they scored 30 plus because their defense scored a ton. So I think that'll be interesting to see him against, like, Frankie and this crew. But you have to bottle up Bijan. If you let Bijan out and get explosives, then Penix's job becomes a lot easier. But I do think that on this defense, as long as you don't do something dumb and throw the ball to Jesse Bates, like, you can move the ball on them. And I think their running game will get back on track as well. Dallas is interesting. Like, Cooper Rush is better than I want him to be. He's not like a top 30 quarterback, but he's between 30 and 40. And like that, those guys can be dangerous. I do think that they probably want to whip the Cowboys' butt. 1, because it's the Cowboys, and 2, to get revenge off the first time where they just played terribly. And I think that they'll be able to do that. It's also like the Cowboys are doing this fight thing that Chris Collinsworth loves, but man, that's week 18. It's 1, 2, 3 Cancun after that. So I do think that there's a chance. I'm hoping that they're clinched and maybe like you only play a half and you just go real sharp, and then let's Marcus and the gang. Let's go. Let's call some guys up from practice squad. Let's get them some game checks. Let's get them a little NFL experience, and then have a half a bye week going into the playoffs. So I'm hoping that is how this goes.
I genuinely, I said I'm not scared of anybody on the schedule, but I don't want that Dallas game to mean more than what it means.
Right.
I just don't want it to mean
Let's get this
more.
done this weekend.
And
Let's just
let's make it a wrap. Let's get it done, and let's get to 11 wins, man. And I would love to see it, man. I would love to see it.
first time since 91, I believe that
You know
happens.
how old I was in 91?
I was one.
I was 6. So
I was one.
I was a young man. You were younger too, man. That's crazy.
I was an infant.
You were barely like you weren't even were you walking, Craig?
Apparently, I was. My mom says I was walking at like 9 months.
Really? Yeah, I was too. I was walking.
So I was a quick mover.
Yeah, there you go. And you see what happened, man. You're a quick mover. Now you're up the ladder at the Team 980, covering the Washington Commanders on a on a regular basis. Craig just leveled up. We love you. We love being here, man, on the afternoon quick. Craig Hoffman, man, go prepare for your show, man. Go ahead.
Appreciate that. Can I make one ask of the audience, DH?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So we do a thing called Competition Wednesday on our show where my producer, Anthony Haney, and I pick games against each other. And the loser has to spin what we call the wheel of mediocre punishment. It's not an intense punishment because it's weekly. And so we do the wheel of mediocre punishment. And on that wheel has been a hot wing challenge all year, and nobody's spun it. So
Really?
nobody's hit that. We've done costume bits. I have. They're actually sitting right here on my floor. We had to wear these silly glasses at one point.
Oh yeah.
So like we've done all kinds. I had to do 100 push-ups in a break. Like that was terrible. So it's like that level of punishment. That like a 6.5, 7 hop wing out of 10. We're not looking for the bomb on hot ones here.
Okay.
But the reason I'm bringing this up is we want to, because it's Sunday Night Football, go bop around and say some hellos at some tailgates this weekend. Yeah. So if you have a really good tailgate and just want to say hi, shoot me a DM on Instagram. Shoot me a DM on Instagram, hoffmanshow.com. We have an email link. However it is that you want to get in contact, let us know where we can come tailgate with you. We're going to be vlogging the whole day as well. And so me and Haney will come hang out. And especially if you got some really good hot wings that can be Anthony. I mean, there's a chance that Haney's watching this, but Anthony, congratulations. You finally won this week for the first time in 6 weeks. That you want me to eat. I'll come eat your hot wings. If you're like, hey, we got a tailgate that people pay. I'm not trying to steal your food. I'll even pay. We got to have some good content. We're going to be vlogging it. It'll be a good time. If your hot wing is terrible, then I'll get to critique it and tell the whole internet that your hot wings are terrible. So be confident in your cooking. But let us know where you're tailgating. We'd love to come say hi. And I know you have a ton of fans that go to games that listen to the show and watch the show. So that's our mission for Sunday Night Football is to hang out with the people.
Guys, you heard it. Craig will pull up to your tailgate, man. Hit him up.
I'm gonna come and eat your food.
Yes, hit him up on X. DM
Don't do
anywhere,
that.
man.
I'm not using X anymore. Don't hit me there. I won't see it.
Okay, all right, got it.
You hit me literally anywhere else.
Anywhere else but X. And I guess that's probably so. I just tagged you in this video everywhere on X, so I'll put it on Instagram because you do be on the gram. I see that you do be on the gram.
Hoffman.sports. We got the new professional page and everything.
Love it, man. Craig, I appreciate you joining the afternoon kick, man, and we'll talk soon, buddy.
Sounds good. Appreciate you always, DH. Have a great rest of the show, buddy.
You too, man. Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Craig Hoffman here on the show, man. Where else can you go and get that? What other YouTube live show can you get that where we talk to Craig Hoffman live? We talk about the game, man. And I'll send this to Craig too, man. Go to Jasper's. Craig, you have to just go right across Arena Drive to Jasper's and you can grab some more wings for the show, man. We just had Craig Hoffman on his 136 on the East Coast. We're going up live to 2 o'clock. Craig Hoffman was talking about the Commanders' win over the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, make sure y'all hit up this chat. We'll talk about everything that we got for the last few minutes of this show. But I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited that we got this dub against the Eagles. Many counted us out. Many just thought we weren't going to be able to get it done. But I said right here on this show, the afternoon kick with my partner in crime, Rio Robinson, who's out today, I said that we were going to win. And some of y'all have even heard that. Y'all echoed it. They said we were going to win, man. And the way we performed, and I really wanted to get to this with Craig, but we ran out of time, man. Those Eagle fans, oh my God. I've heard every excuse on the planet about why the Eagles lost. Apparently, Jalen Hurts plays defense, and he was attributed to those 36 points that they gave up. Apparently, he plays every defensive position. I've heard every excuse. We're acting like we won the Super Bowl. No, we just beat y'all. Y'all the number 1 team in the division. We just beat y'all. I mean, how are we supposed to act? We're supposed to act, yes, we won the game. Yes, that's it. We are winning. Like, Come on, bro. What y'all think? What we supposed to do? I mean, we beat y'all. That's what we supposed to do. We supposed to dominate, and that's what we did, man. We beat the Eagles. So I'm so excited that we won this game. Tell me your thoughts about the game here in the chat. Make sure you like and subscribe to the page, man. Hold on, I gotta do my special. Here we go.
Like and subscribe, please.
Thank you. Make sure y'all do that right here on the YouTube page, the Breaking Command Pod YouTube, and on X. Make sure you like and subscribe there. Hit us up, man. But I'm gonna get to some of these comments right here that the fans have been chiming in. I wasn't able to get to it because if it wasn't related to what we were talking about, I didn't play it. So it's all right. Let me go to Arch. We got to wrap it up this week. Dallas has won 4 of the last 5 with Rush. Arch, I agree with you. Like I said earlier, man, I do not want this Dallas game to mean anything. I want us to beat Atlanta, and I want us to be able to clinch, because just like the game where we just beat the Eagles, you never know what happens in these divisional games. You never know what happens in these matchups. And who knows how they come out and play, because the first game was a perfect example. We were supposed to beat Dallas, and we lost. So we don't want that to happen, even though I don't think it will happen. This organization is always better prepared the second time around. But I don't want that Dallas game to mean anything. I want that game to be just a formality. I think we got to go out and beat the Falcons this week. And I think we do, man. I think we put some pressure on Penix. I think we just come out there and exercise some demons and just play, and we've been great at home this year. We've been amazing at home. Let me see. Lamont, it was a win. 5 carried them offensively, and the defense made some plays to end it. I love that, man. Yes, that is important. Thanks, Lamont, for chiming in, man. We definitely did that. And I mean, Philly's a good ball club, and we just beat them. And you never know what's going to happen in these games. And to that point, Arch said, divisional games are unpredictable, no matter the record. Just beat Atlanta this week. I agree, Arch. That's it. We just beat the Falcons. Do what we're supposed to do. We don't. See, this. I just heard this on Sirius XM, man, with Patrick Peterson, as we talked about earlier. He said when Bruce Arians got to Arizona, he just told them, win your home games and try to split your road games, and you'll more than likely win the division. You want to be going into the playoffs not needing help, not needing assistance, right? When you need assistance, you almost never get it. But for us, I mean, we've been lucky, so we could get it. But when you need assistance and you need help, it almost never works out, man. We want to handle and take care of business. And with the NFC East playing so well, I mean, you have to handle your business, because you never know what could happen down at the bottom of this playoff matchup. And we're at 7 right now. We're not getting any help from above because the Packers are a good ball club. The Vikings are a good ball club. And the NFC West, they're kind of shaking it out. But man, there's some good ball clubs ahead of us. We have to do to make sure that we handle business. I think we do handle business this week against Atlanta, man. You put some pressure on Penix. You let him, have his first real test. You let him see that, hey, we're not a team to be trifled with. We're going to play this aggressive defense. You play this aggressive defense on a young quarterback who hasn't had that many snaps. You may come away with a little more turnovers. You may get the pressure that we're looking for. I'm hoping John Allen can come back this week as well. Archie mentioned it earlier. If John Allen can come back, this might be a good comeback game where he can kind of come in and flex his will, man, kind of get back in and put some hits on Penix. I would love to see him be able to do this. And as we were talking about the playoffs, we could be a 7th seed with 12 wins. That's how the NFC East is very top heavy. Like, the top teams are the best teams in ball. We could get to 12 wins and still be a 7th seed. 12 wins, man, I would love to see that, man. And I know a lot of y'all fans that have been here, y'all been waiting for us to be a good team, bro. And it's crazy. I kind of alluded to that when we were talking with Craig. It's 1:41 right now on the East Coast. Please, after this is done, go back and listen to Craig Hoffman, man, of the Team 980. We had him on, and he discussed pretty much everything under the sun with this Eagles win that we had this past week. But we talked about the divine nature of some of these games, man. We talked about the divine nature of how we've been winning games, with the Hail Mary, with the play against Dallas, even though that should have been a win, with with stopping the 2-point conversion last week against the Saints, and then just beating the Eagles, who's the number 1 team in the division, who had all intents and purposes should have won, but they didn't. We played well and we beat those guys, man. The divine nature of how this team has been playing, I love it. And I just think we have all the good juju finally on our side. Northwest Stadium is not getting talked about bad like it used to be. We changed the name from FedEx, and now Northwest is one of the best places to play. It used to be the package. It used to be FedEx Field. Now it's Northwest Stadium, and we're a different ball club at home. I mean, I can't believe that. Like, we're a different team. So we're playing at home. We got the home momentum. Jayden Daniels just makes us a better ball club. Shout out to Mr. Underwood. What's up, man? He said we have our quarterback regardless of how far we get in the playoffs. You're exactly right, bro. The league is put on notice. Everybody knows that we have our quarterback, and he's going to be our quarterback for the foreseeable future. And if he plays it, y'all got to remember too, man. Y'all got to remember, this is the beginning. This is his first NFL season. And he's got us to double-digit wins in a remarkable fashion, making limited mistakes and taking the league by storm in his first season. This is the beginning of the roller coaster. Whether it's a straight line roller coaster, whether it goes up and down, this is the start. And he's making us a viable contender. Free agents are going to want to come here. Teams are not going to want to play us. Teams don't want to get embarrassed. I mean, every highlight show, from Dan Orlovsky to Brian Baldinger to Colin Cowherd to Uncle Shay and Ocho, they all love Jayden Daniels. They all believe that he's the rookie of the year. They all believe that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league and will be one of the best quarterbacks in the league going forward. And I love that for us. That's something that we haven't had. We've not been talked about in this great light, like, as long as I can remember. And I know we got some old heads in the chat, man. Y'all remember when the team was good. Y'all remember this in the 80s and early 90s when this team was good and how they were relevant. We're getting back to that. 82-3, we hit the Super Bowl. Y'all don't know that. Thanks to the 12th man on YouTube. Go look at it. Shout out to my pops. What up, Dad? The 7th seed. Where do you prefer to travel to play in the first round? Man, first of all, I don't care where we go, right? But I want to go to the best place possible. I want to go indoors, right? So if we're able, I don't even want to say that because I don't want to play Detroit. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like it's aiming to be another Philly matchup. I feel like if the season plans out the way it is, we may get Philly first. And I don't know, but wherever we play, I feel like wherever we travel, the game that we've been playing has to come with us. So whether it's it could be anywhere, man. I mean, the way the NFC North is shaking up, the Vikings could mess around. If they went out and the Lions, I mean, who knows what could happen. But wherever we go, I don't care. I just want us to perform and play well and just do our thing, because I truly believe that we may be a team of destiny this year. The same way, some of these teams just sneak around and just hang around. The way the Bucks did. The Bucks snuck around last year and they just hung around and played 2 playoff games. Like, what? Like, how's that supposed to happen? Blue Magic, you've been a fan since 83. See? You know about it. Since 1983, man. That's a long time ago. 40 plus years, man. And now we're back to relevancy. I hope it's just not a flash in the pan. And I don't think it is, because JD5 prepares too well. Arch said it's looking like Detroit right now. Yeah, I think it might be. You think Philly gonna win out and Detroit finish the 2 seed? I would love, man. Us in Detroit, that could be a barn burner. Detroit has a crazy offense, but Detroit has proven that they will take a break and keep you in the game. First example is Thanksgiving. The fact that the Bears kept that game close on Thanksgiving, it shouldn't have been done. It shouldn't have been done. But Detroit is a team that Dan Campbell might mess around, put his foot in his mouth again. And he might make too many mistakes, and we might be able to get an opportunity to get the dub. Who knows? I don't know. I'd love to see it. Realistic Washington fan. Merry Christmas, DH. Hey, man, thank you, man. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas to everyone, man. Shout out to the Realistic Washington fan, man. Yeah, appreciate the love, man. Make sure you got like and subscribe wherever you are. Man, subscribe to this page, man. Subscribe to this page right now. Arch said Washington is undefeated against Detroit in the playoffs. Oh, yeah, I like. See, man, we love nuggets, right? We love nuggets. And shout out to Arch bringing the nuggets, because 3-0 against Detroit. Now, I guess it's what, the 90s, back when they had Barry Sanders. Yeah, back in the 90s, man, going against them. And I love that. Yeah, man. We whoever it is, we're going to have to travel. So, Dad, that's your answer. Whoever it is, We're gonna have to travel. We're gonna have to play well, and we got to play with our hair on fire. For at least one game, you pull out all stops. There is no, you don't take any timeouts home. You don't, um, you don't leave anything on the table. Push all your chips to the middle of the table. You play and you do whatever you gotta do to get out of wherever you're gonna be with a win. That's all I want. And it all starts Sunday. Playoff starts Sunday, bro. Play like your hair is on fire starting this Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. I love to see it. Mr. Underwood said Quinn was hesitant when asked, "Are we ready to play anybody?" And he said, "Not right now." I disagree with that answer because this team plays with all. Okay, hold up. This team plays with their all, no matter what. Whoever they play is who it should say. Mr. Underwood, I agree. But I also think Quinn is trying to play down everything. They said in his press conference he doesn't look forward. He just looks at the right now, and I think he is okay with doing that. The coach can, but the players know what's at risk. The fans know what's at stake. They know that they have to continue to play ball, and they know that they have to continue to play well if they want to get anything out of this run and anything out of this season. Blue Magic said, "I'm not looking anything further than Sunday night. We are not officially in," and you're exactly right. I want to just keep this aware. The sky could fall. It could. We hope it doesn't, and I don't think it will, but it could. We have to handle our business. And just like what he said today, I'm not counting my chickens until they hatch. So, but speaking of chicken, I'm counting this chicken. Hold on. Very good. All that talking to Craig got me hungry, man. Talking about good football, man. Go back and listen to that, man. Craig Hoffman hung out with us for 30 minutes before he does his show a little bit later on the Team 980. And he talked about, excuse me, I got to chew. My bad. He talked about a lot of nerdy things. Talked about some of the plays and the key things that happened with the Commanders on Sunday to help get the win. So make sure y'all go and check that out. And you go check on his podcast, The Taking Command podcast with him and Logan Paulson. Man, they have some great stuff, some great nuggets. And y'all know how we love nuggets here on the Afternoon Kick. 149 on the East Coast. Your man Darian D.H. Williams, my partner in crime, Rio Robinson, is not here today. He's out celebrating with the family. Shout out to him. Merry Christmas to my partner. Merry Christmas to D Mitty, my other co-host on the Breaking Command podcast, where we have more podcast episodes coming out very soon. So shout out to both my partners in crime as we try to keep this channel booming, man. We try to keep this thing up. No chomping on the mic. That's it though. Hey man, now I gotta keep it light, you know what I'm saying? But I gotta eat though, bro. I gotta eat, man. We was talking about chicken. I gotta make sure I'm protecting my chicken. You know what I'm saying? What Marshawn say, I gotta protect the chicken. But yes, happy holidays to you too, Arch. Happy holidays to everybody tuned in, everybody watching right now. Man, I want to get into something that I thought was interesting. Is just that this team has no quit. Like we alluded to this a little bit earlier, but this team has no quit. Like they went up 14-0. And you kind of just thought, like, man, is this gonna be one of them games? Are we just gonna get beat? Is it just gonna end? Is it just gonna go out like this? No, we had 4 touchdowns, 2 from Olamide Zaccheaus and 2 from Jamison Crowder, and Terry had that other touch. Man, I would love to have that ticket. Imagine if you had Jamison Crowder for 2+ touchdowns and Olamide Zaccheaus for 2+ touchdowns. Imagine how much better your Christmas would be. Nobody could call that, but I did see Olamide Zaccheaus +2 touchdown ticket, which was crazy. I probably think it was done live too. I don't know, but having that ticket would be crazy. But the team doesn't have any quit, man. They keep fighting, bro, and that's something that in the years past, as a fan watching, is that it just feels like the team would just not have enough, and it just feels like, bro, we have so much mojo, and we just keep playing well. And to Mr. Underwood's point, his blood pressure was up and down. Mine too, bro. My blood pressure was high as a kite, and then it came down, and it just, oh my God, that was a tough game to watch because you just didn't know what was going to happen. You just didn't know how the team was going to perform. You didn't know what they were going to do, and they just kept playing, bro. They're the true example of just, you got to just keep playing, bro. The game is not over till there's no time on the clock. And even when he threw that interception late, I was like, okay, that's a wrap. But he still had time on the clock. The defense showed out. Your man dropped the pass where the game would have been over. He drops the pass and kept the game available. And And then in specials, we get the returns. Like McCaffrey was balling in the return game. I feel like he had over 100 yards in the return game this week. Like what? Like who does that? So man, it's just we just have it on our side, man. We just have the luck on our side, and we just been playing well. And I love to see that for us, man, because you're gonna need all the good mojo and all the good stuff from here on out, because the playoffs are coming, and you have to be playing your best football. And to go to that point, Lamont said, Crowder, man, the consummate professional, comes in ready. Dan seeing Luke as a returner. This team keeps evolving. I love our chances. Exactly, Lamont. Thank you for saying that, man. Guys have shown this part of the season what they can do well. Diami catching another bomb. Guys are just starting to play well. We love that. All right, here goes a Philly fan. You guys got lucky. Hurts got injured. Hey, man, sometimes it's better be lucky than good. And we can't control who gets hurt. But if your quarterback want to play like a running back, you're going to get popped. And there's nothing I can do to control that. So he went down, got a concussion, man. You got to protect your chicken. You got to protect your neck. Ain't that what they say? Hey, ain't nothing I can do about that. But let me tell you what, regardless if he was in or not, he doesn't play defense. And he did not stop anybody on our offense from scoring. So that's something that y'all gonna have to worry about on film. Y'all gonna have to take a look and try to figure out what happened with that. We ain't gonna worry about that. That's y'all problem. We just worry about getting that big dub like we got. So thank you for tuning in though. I appreciate that. Thank you for chiming in, man. Arch said his heart was beating through his chest for the last 2 minutes. Oh, you might want to get that looked at, Arch. Then he jumped through the roof when Crowder scored, man. Listen, I did too, brother. Listen, man, I probably could dunk at the end of that game. I jumped so high. Now, in my mind, I think I jumped high, but I probably didn't. But man, I was super excited. I couldn't believe it. The whole house screamed. And then I called this guy here, called my dad, and we screamed, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a throwback. Y'all don't know about that. But as Earl said, we're learning to be a good team. And good team wins regardless of the mistake. Yeah, you can just look over to the Midwest where the Kansas City Chiefs find a way to win every week, whether it's the refs helping them out, whether they block a field goal at the end of the game, whether something goes their way. You just find a way to win. That's what it's about. It's not about how it looks. It's not about how it happens. It's just about doing it. That's it. It's just about winning. That's all that it comes down to. And good teams find a way to win. And now is it safe to say we're one of those good teams? We're finding a way to get the dub when it counts. I love that for us. Ms. Underwood said, everybody, especially the Eagles fans, was saying if Jaylen, didn't get hurt, the game would be different. Unfortunately, Jaylen brought it on himself, and the defense was to blame. Hello, like I said, he don't play defense. It's on himself. It's on himself. He has to protect himself. And this point of the season, we already clinched. You don't want to lose him, Philly. I'm telling you, you don't want to lose him for a substantial amount of time, because that could affect how your game will go. You don't want to lose him. I promise you, you don't want to lose him. But for our sake, he was out. And what are we going to do? Take a knee because your quarterback is out? No, we're going to play ball. We're going to play ball. Louisville likes to hit people. I told people we were going to break Philly. Hurts, man, better stay in the pocket from now on versus us. You better tell him, Lamont. He better stay in there. Every time I say his name, I think it's Sanford. Come on, Lamont. Tell him. Let me stop. Nah, but hey, listen. I'm telling you, man, this is the time not to get hurt, bro. You got to be playing good ball. You don't want to get hurt, man. And they controlled the time possession and still lost. What? Yes. Come on, man. It's critical, man. This is where you have to be playing your best football. Terry said it best, that we used to being behind, but they always keep it together. That's coaching, man. That's coaching. And look, man, I'm not taking this time to talk about Ron Rivera or pile on him. But, man, just the glaring difference from a Ron Rivera-led team versus a Dan Quinn team. They are just completely different. Dan Quinn shows the emotion on the sideline. He's not over there with his arms folded. He's coaching ahead. He's really locked in with these guys. He talks about brotherhood in every press conference, and it sounds corny at times, but he's correct. This team has a brotherhood that they keep fighting for each other, and they don't let anybody down. They stay motivated. You see how every time Jayden has a turnover, he's just smiling. He's excited. He's ready to get back in because he knows he has another opportunity. Jayden Daniels is the epitome of what you want in a quarterback. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. He could easily go up to these press conferences and just talk about himself. But no, he chooses to talk about everybody else. And he talks about how it's just this one game. It's it. He's not looking ahead. He's not looking back. It's just this one game. So he pissed me off one time because he don't get excited enough. I feel like he should be more excited. But that's just him saying, hey, we have a lot more work to do. And one game is not going to get it done. We have to win as many as we can. And I love that for him. And I love that for us, man. It's truly it truly speaks to what we do here. And I love that, man. And I think I just love that, man. We're just a good ball club, man. We're just a good ball club. I need to play this before we get out of here. Yes, the winning sound. No, that was the wrong one. It's okay. But we about to level up. The afternoon kick, the early edition. We had the 1 o'clock start right here on the afternoon kick, where it was me and Craig Hoffman for the first 30 minutes of this program. Make sure when you're done, you go back and check out the beginning of this episode with Craig Hoffman, and he talked about everything that happened in the Eagles game. And since you are here, do us a favor
and subscribe, please.
That's it. Like and subscribe, man. You see the names at the bottom. Go find them. Go seek them out. There's some great content on my man Rio Robinson page, on the Breaking Command Pod YouTube page. There's a lot of old podcasts you can go check out with guys like Mike Callow, with Scott Jackson, another episode with Craig Hoffman, with Nick Ackridge of PFF, with Dre Bly, 11-year NFL veteran, where we talked about Benjamin St. Juice. You want to hear some good corner breakdown? Go watch that episode on the Breaking Command Pod YouTube page. But it's so much. It's so much. But I'm glad you guys were here to share some time with me for this hour. It was a great time. I hope you guys have a happy and safe holiday with your friends and your family, man, as we prepare. Paul, what up, man? You got a lot of show to catch up on. It's about to end, but go back and watch the episode, man. We had a great time talking to Craig Hoffman earlier, but go back and check it out, Paul. But what up with you, man? Appreciate you stopping by. Another comment here. The last time we played Philly, they were saying we made Jayden look like a rookie. Well, JD5 heard that and threw 5 TDs. You're definitely right about that, Mr. Carter. Trust me. I love that for us, the 5 touchdowns. He should not lock up another Pepsi Rookie of the Week. I mean, that's his award at this point in time, but he should definitely lock that up. But as I was saying, man, make sure you go back and check out all the previous content for the Breaking Command Pod and the Afternoon Kick, where we go live for your drive with live episodes. My partner in crime, Rio Robinson, will join us next week. And depending on how this week goes, maybe we may have another live episode. If y'all want another live episode, hit the comment section and tell us you want another live episode this week. I'd love that. Tell us you want another live episode, and we might be able to do it for you, man. I really appreciate that. But make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend. If you feel so inclined to leave us a 5-star review, you can get your 5 seconds of fame, man. Hit us up everywhere. And shout out to the Commanders for getting to double digits. We are now 10-5 for the first time since 1991, where I was 6 years old. Such a long time ago. Shout out to the team for balling out and winning and getting us to the next spot on this roller coaster. Hopefully it's a playoff berth, but we got to do that this week by beating the Atlanta Falcons and Michael Penix Jr. Well, regardless of what we do, we'll be here to talk about it right here on the Afternoon Kick. Make sure you come back and join us. Really appreciate you for being here with us. And go finish your last minute Christmas shopping, Paul. Watch this, put this in your ears, but go finish your last minute Christmas shopping. If you still got some shopping to do, make sure you do that. And the easiest way you can shop for us is like, subscribe to this page. And if you want us to do more, help us. Because if we can get monetized, we'll do this every day. Trust me and believe me. If you like what you're seeing, man, make sure you go tell somebody. I appreciate that. But happy holidays to you and yours. We will catch you on the flip side. This has been Darian D.H. Williams with another episode of the Afternoon Kick. Appreciate you for tuning in. Happy holidays. Later.